Welcome back to the Roll-Up High Roller community. As always, nothing on the roll-up is to be construed as financial advice. We are just some educators in the DeFi space. Toss us a quick like, give us a share, a repost, send it to a friend who may want to watch this, and finally, give us a sub or a follow. It means the world to help support credibly neutral educational content in DeFi. We're here to educate, empower, and enrich you, and let's jump in. Like to kick this off because we're going to be behind no matter what the whole time because people love chatting and it's going to be fun. We're super chill here today. Rob and I have done this once or twice before, and it's a lot of fun, a lot of different opinions, and just kind of want to kick us off with just a general, so those who are here on this first panel and who are listening and can understand how we got here. Rob and I started the Bitcoin and Blockchain Club alongside with our dear friend Antonio from Ben, Blockchain Education Network. He was also a student at the University of Florida back then in 2017. And now he's the key part of Ben. I think that's Eric behind the Ben account, but effectively we've just held on to our relationship and have really just been pioneering the education space together, or at least trying to in the blockchain space. And Ben does really good work. They're really well connected with a lot of colleges and, kind of like, more higher level educational groups and institutions. And I know there's quite a bit of participation from colleges and DAOs and governance. And so definitely excited to have them here and to be kind of bringing the educational angle to what we're doing here. And obviously, you guys know Rob and I, we're degens. We get on chain, we have fun, we farm yields, and today we're trying to bring that to light and really inspire some collaboration amongst the teams here. So without too much further ado, just gonna kick it over to Ben, Eric for a quick intro. I didn't cover, and then we're gonna jump right into this first panel.
Hey guys, thank you for the introduction. This is Eric from Blockchain Education Network. We're a network of university students that started back in 2014. We create companies, we help students get jobs and fly them out to conferences to meet co-founders, to get investors. And we partner with like layer one protocols that are looking for more developers or looking for like builders. And so, happy to see everything that the Rollup has done. We create a lot of educational content on our YouTube, and we host a lot of events like this for the purposes of educating the community on various different protocols and various different resources and opportunities that we have in this space.
Eric, it feels like we've gone full circle since the North American Bitcoin Conference in Miami, all the way through like the trials and tribulations of Bitcoin, ETH, DeFi, summer, on-chain, spring, winter. It's been a pleasure going through these cycles with you, man, and excited to continue on this journey and learn from all the guests that we have in the space today. So I think we've got our first panel up, and these are the guys and gals that are heads down building every day in this space. This is what this is. These projects are what this is all about. And what we've learned is that by being the newbies, by kind of being the just like the small brains, we're able to host the big brains that we have on the panel today and learn as much as possible from them. So we have our first four big brains, Lodestar, Shreddy, Tenzet, Joseph. Maybe we can do a quick round of intros. We'll keep it relatively quick paced, and then we'll get a little bit deeper into how each of these projects are feeling about Arbitrum nowadays. Tenzet, maybe you wanna start with yourself and Sila.
Yeah, sure. So just very quickly, I'm the head of BD at Silo Finance. Silo Finance, we do risk-isolated lending markets. So instead of one big pool for all the assets, we create individual pools for every asset. And so we try to create a lot of lending markets for a lot of long-tailed tokens. But yeah, I'll pass it along.
Nice. Shreddy.
We'll keep it going. If you guys feel so inclined, just keep the conversation flowing, and we'll just kind of bounce around. Joseph, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Hey, I could not hear Shreddy. I don't know. I think Twitter is just broken. Damn you, Rocket Man. But I'm Joseph. I'm the founder of Open Dollar, a new over-collateralized stablecoin on Arbitrum backed by liquid staking tokens, where the debt is tied to NFTs instead of being tied to accounts. So it will create the first market where you can buy and sell debt positions in DeFi. We're building on Arbitrum. I'm really excited. I think it's great. STIP process is great, and yeah, happy to talk about any of that today.
Sweet.
Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for being here. Let's kick it off with Lodestar to wrap or to get started here, and quick intro, and then please tell us about bribes on money markets and how you are planning to use STIPs to enhance this. As I believe, you've been around for now about a month and a bit with the STIP. So how is things going with this first month and a half? With your strategy and where you see results and where are the opportunities on chain?
For sure. I'm Waffle. I'm in charge of growth and business development at Lodestar Finance. So the whole idea of Lodestar Finance is bringing a money market, a native money market for Arbitrum, supporting blue chip assets, stable coins, but also Arbitrum native assets such as GMX, ARP token, Magic, but also yield-bearing assets such as PLV, GLP, and wrap state. So the whole point of whenever we received the STIP grant was to incentivize the liquidity. So at the moment, every depositor and borrower on Lodestar Finance receives a share of our STIP weekly. So we take 2 snapshots random during the week and airdrop at the end, every Sunday at the end of each of our epochs. And the specificity of Lodestar is actually, first of all, our native token is yield-bearing, distributing revenues from the protocol's revenue, I'd say. But there is a feature that is some kind of staking multiplier whenever a load holder or staker locks his tokens for 3 or 6 months. And whenever you lock, well, for the first time on a lending market, we've integrated the gauge. So just like on the curve model, DEX, lockers can direct every week the incentives either to the markets, either on the borrow side or on the supply side. And this has opened up to a few use cases. For example, whenever you're deploying a strategy on Lodestar, if you're leveraging, let's say, PLV GLP, it would make sense for you to vote for the PLV GLP deposit so they receive more incentives, but also on the USDC borrows, so your USDC is cheaper. And with this gauge, actually, we've seen a few interesting dynamics happening. And we recently also partnered with Redacted Cartel to integrate our lending market on their hidden and bribe platform. So starting today, actually, for first time, you have protocols, strategy deployers, liquidity providers. They can actually bribe our token holders in order to receive more incentives on the gauge. So this is what we've been trying to bring at Lodestar, a native money market, but that innovates at the same moment by bringing this gauge mechanics to a lending platform.
Beautiful. Great segue into kind of understanding Tencent and Silo's perspective. Tencent. So now that you've kind of heard it, understood Lodestar's kind of perspective, I assume that you've already obviously seen it on chain. What design choices did you make that are different? Why? And kind of what are some of your reflections so far from the money market point of view, with the STIP program and kind of your different kind of just results?
Yeah. So at Silo, right, we do risk isolation, which is kind of an opposite concept in a way, and we have I think different kind of use cases. So when a shared pool model, we have essentially all the assets borrowing each other. So you really want a core base of really trustworthy assets, and you get a lot more efficiency within those assets, right? But with Silo, right, what we try to do is we go for risk isolation, which instead of creating one big money market, we create a bunch of small ones, and we pair everything with the same things, which we would consider like the most blue chip assets. So on Arbitrum, right, we would create a market for something like Radiant, right, like the RDNT token, and then we pair it with Ethereum and USDC. And so this way, if say like one of the oracles is bad in a completely different market, or maybe there is a liquidity situation around a certain token. If that market gets exploited, then none of the risk is transferred into the other pools, right? Because that actual asset cannot borrow from the other pools. So this way, like, users can still go from asset A to B, technically through the bridge assets is what we call them, but not have any of the same kind of risk. So it's a bit of a trade-off of efficiency for also the ability to kind of list any market that you want to, because we are able to list something like a complex derivative without adding that risk onto all of the other pools. So I think that's kind of the route that we're taking kind of in Silo, which is more towards the complex derivatives, harder kind of things to liquidate and whatnot. But yeah. And as far as our STIP incentives, the way they're handed out, we don't have staking, so it's they're stakeless gauges. You just deposit and you earn the rewards. Currently, we're handing out 1 million ARB tokens, plus some, like the Radiant team, they've actually put up some incentives with us. And yeah, basically any native token that you can think of is on Silo and has its own pool with different varying oracles and different varying liquidities depending on how deep the token is.
Silo the risk, baby. Appreciate it. Zen, thank you. I guess just real quick, we're gonna jump to Shred. I just want to ask you one last thing. What's the top yields pool on Silo right now that you're seeing across the border? Is it all kind of dependent on the risk of the isolated market?
Is that for me or Tencent?
Nah, that's for Tencent.
But also you guys can hear me now?
Yeah.
We can. I can hear you. Say that again, Andy.
Just is there a specific isolated market that has any additional incentives or high yields, or is it distributed fairly and the yields are basically adjusted based on the risk parameter of that isolated pool?
So I mean, the yields basically differ varying on the asset, and that also matters on USDC's right side because we're risk isolated. We don't have one USDC pool; it's one USDC pool per asset, and so there can be varying degrees of yield on that. And the one thing I will point to though is we have an integration with Pendle, and the Pendle pool is magnificent. It's just I think it's much higher yield. I think it's like 20 to 25% on stables and just raw yield. So yeah,
awesome. Yeah, Lodestar had something, and then we'll pass it over to Shreddy so he gets his time as well. And we're gonna jump on to the next one.
No, I was going to say there's definitely two different approaches when it comes to Silo and Loss are two different use cases too. The fact of siloing the risk allows you definitely using more, adding more exotic assets to your market, being able to borrow against your Grail, your Pendle on Silo, but also your Plutus PLS assets definitely is an advantage. When it comes to Lodestar, which is built off a compound fork when it comes to the lending markets themselves, adding assets is much more tricky, I would say, because you actually need two things. You need a reliable price feed and enough liquidity. So you end up with less native assets, I would say, but on the other hand, whichever is available on Lodestar allows for more advanced strategies. You can long leverage your Bitcoin by borrowing ARB, for example. If you think that the Bitcoin ARB ratio is going to go down, you can definitely build delta neutral strategies on PLV, GLP with the different assets that are available. So the fact of having many different assets pooled together, indeed, it's definitely harder to add more exotic ones. But on the other hand, it allows also for more advanced strategies too. And I'd say that adding on top of that, which allows you like to vote and to direct the incentives, definitely helps like the user into shaping the available liquidity on the lending market.
Epic. Okay, Shreddy, last but not least, you're back in business. How How's the yields going on GLP? I'm setting you up for a winner right there because I've seen the chart on CoinGecko. Been watching it. Things are looking good. How is Jones DAO entering this, and what's your plans going forward to take care of the Arbitrum fam? Can you guys hear?
No, not shreddy.
Get a mic ready.
Shreddy, you got to drop again, and then
We'll get you up here, Shreddy.
we're on this.
All right. Well, I see the Jones DAO account is joining now, so maybe we can hear directly from on Jones DAO itself. Here he is.
By proxy. All right. Christ, I'm having so many issues today with all this, everything, whatever. Well, I had given a great intro before, but I'm sorry that we weren't able to hear that. Jones is a simple DeFi strategy protocol. We've been doing that forever. The idea is basically to give users the access to some pretty high level DeFi strategies fairly easily, very quickly, and in a liquid fashion. So yeah, I mean, our most successful strategies so far have been built around GLP. GLP yields, while they've been kind of lagging for the last couple of months before some recent times, we've definitely seen an upkick, and we're super happy with that. JGLP basically applies an automated leverage on top of GLP. And yeah, I guess the price of GLP, because it's a liquid token, has been trending upwards. So a lot of our holders are very comfortable because of that. Yeah, and then in terms of STIP, it's very simple to access STIP rewards on Jones. We were super grateful to be able to receive a 2 million ARB grant, and we're just we've got a farm on our D app where you can deposit Jones strategies. You can deposit JGLP, JUSDC, and wrapped JAura, which we've actually made omni-chain and bridged over to Arbitrum, and you can earn some really, really juicy extra ARB on top of that.
Love it.
And I'm over to the farm, make some harvests.
Yes.
Thank you, Shreddy, for making it happen up here. And thank you to the first panel for kicking us off. Great vibes so far. Rob, we're moving on to the next panel. We got some DeFi OGs, some friends and the classic ARB fam in the building. We got Jonesy Opera of Blue, and Smoothie from Senko. Let's kick it off to Blue from Trader Joe. Some really cool liquidity book designs at Trader Joe. Really kind of shaping the DEX landscape, and some interesting choices as far as deployment on Arbitrum. I think it's been a really good one for Trader Joe and the brand. You guys have some really cool yields just for trading and for providing liquidity. So yeah, what's the how's the STIPs game? What's the plans? How are users engaging? And yeah, Blue, take it away.
Hey guys, yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'll just get straight into it. Yeah, so Trader Joe, our STIP, it's basically how it works is it's kind of split down to two key forms of incentivization. So one, we have auto pools. This is our own. So basically we've got 1.5 million ARB tokens being distributed to liquidity providers. So a big portion of that is going into our auto pools. So that's an automated liquidity manager, similar to Gamma Strategies, etc. That is like, you deposit into one of 4 potential strategies, and then you can just also deposit into a farm. So it's just like a classic yield farm, and you accrue ARB tokens, proportionate share. And then the bulk of our incentives are going into our own maker incentive program. So as a liquidity provider on Liquidity Book, you're concentrating liquidity, you're competing against other liquidity providers, you want to earn more fees, so you can rank higher in leaderboards for each independent liquidity pool. The higher in the leaderboard you get, the more fees you earn, and then also the more ARB tokens you'll earn. That's the short of the program, and how we're phasing this through the STIP period is we basically have 3 phases. So I think what we notice is, most DEXs are kind of rolling out with, hey, look, we're going to distribute ARB over a variety of liquidity pools for 3-4 months. But we've kind of taken a phased approach, so it's a bit more concentrated, it's a bit more focused, and so each month approximately we'll distribute ARB to maybe 4, 5, 6 liquidity pools at a time, and then this kind of just keeps it fresh as we move through each phase. It allows for a more concentrated approach with providing liquidity. It helps discovery as well, because how we can market each phase is we can be a bit more focused with our comms, and the whole purpose of that is to try and help discovery of protocols on Arbitrum, because as a liquidity provider, particularly now, you are there's so much noise with yield. So when you're searching for a pool you want to deposit in, we're just trying to reduce the mental load that liquidity providers have when they come onto our DEX. Hey, look, there's our tokens across 6 pools. Okay, that makes it a bit easier for them, and they can focus on one or a few of those pools at a time. But yeah, so our approach to maker incentives is phased over roughly a month period of time, and as we go through each month, different liquidity pools will have different ARB tokens attached to them.
And if you have any tiny bit of alphas for what this present is, I've been seeing it running around.
For what the present is?
Yeah, you see the thing pinned at the top? I'm not sure if this has been dropped yet. I saw about.
Oh, right. Yeah, I've got no idea myself. This is just layer 3. They've organized it. I've honestly got no idea what's the present at the end. It's probably an NFT.
You can tell if he's just pulling our strings here, if you tell the truth. But we'll let it slide.
Trader Joe, the Trader Joe character looks awfully a lot like Santa nowadays. So we'll just let the gift kind of hang out there at the top. Blue, thanks for going. Definitely lots to check out on Trader Joe as you guys are going all across the map and distributing these presents. Jonesy, you've been patiently waiting and personally eager to hear the latest on GMX, the STIPs, how you guys are distributing the 12 million ARB, and generally how you're doing, man.
Hey, Andy. Good to connect, man. And same to everybody else. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces on this space and a lot of protocols we love to integrate and build and cooperate with. Warm welcome to everybody. So GMX and the STIP. Yeah, lots been going on. It's a big program, as you mentioned, 12 million in incentives, which is quite a sizable amount. GMX has chosen to focus on 3 elements mainly. Number 1 is liquidity incentives. It's to incentivize the GM pools of GMX v2. There are sizable ARB incentives on all the GM pools on Arbitrum. Those are on top of the native yields, which are already very healthy APRs, ranging somewhere between 30 and 40, 50, 60, even up to 70% on some of the very popular pools. So very good yields currently on the GM pools. And that was exactly the intention. Of course, GMX, let me give you a little bit of background, because of course GMX is one of the leading on-chain perpetual exchanges, live on Arbitrum and live on Avalanche. But we've launched GMX v2 over the last 3 months or so, slowly building that out further, optimizing UX, optimizing trading functionality. And along with that new launch of these isolated GM pools comes the need to bootstrap liquidity. Now, thankfully, GMX is a very healthy and supportive community and a history of being able to bootstrap sufficient liquidity, as the GLP model showed. But nonetheless, we're really happy to see that the GM pools have also gotten immense adoption, and we're now up to more than 250 million in USD across all the GM pools, which is a lot of liquidity and allows for very thorough on-chain trading, very massive sized positions to be taken by traders. So that's a little bit ahead of schedule, actually. We were expecting the pools to blow up at some point early next quarter, let's say, but due to these incentives, things have moved a little bit faster than we expected even. And it's really good to see trade volume and open interest and all these healthy metrics grow alongside that liquidity. So very happy with how that's progressing. That's things on the liquidity incentive side. So if you're a DeFi, a liquidity provider, it's certainly worthwhile to take a look at the GM pools of GMX v2, because there are yields to be earned that I think are pretty much in the top 10 of the opportunities across DeFi currently. That's element one, the liquidity incentives. We're also offering trading incentives on GMX v2, basically to bring down the trading fees. Trading fees standard for GMX v2 are 0.05 slash 0.07%, depending on what side of the books you're on, let's say. So if longs are dominant, then you pay a slightly higher trading fee to go long. Vice versa, if shorts are dominant, you pay a slightly higher trading fee to go shorts. But those trading fees have now been cut by about up to 75% thanks to the ARB trading incentives. And that basically brings all trading fees to a level of less than 0.2, and basically brings trading fees to a level that's comparable to what VIP tiers on centralized exchanges like Binance and Bybit can offer. So it's really good to see an on-chain exchange being able to offer those levels, and hopefully that allows us to bring a lot of SEX-based traders on-chain and get them to experience DeFi, get them to experience on-chain leverage trading on Arbitrum. And so far that all seems to be working out quite well, because we're seeing adoption go hand in hand with these liquidity and trading incentives, and seeing very significant volume coming in. We're celebrating about 500,000 users in total for GMX right now, which is already quite an astronomical amount. And the weekly trading volume in the last week has skyrocketed. It's somewhere around 2.5 billion in USD in volume, which is quite a healthy achievement. So yeah, in terms of the Arbitrum incentives, GMX is very content with how things have progressed, and very happy to be able to offer these opportunities to both LPs and traders.
Well, awesome. And Jonesy, just one last thing, just briefly, could you also talk a bit about how GMX is also providing some grants to different projects looking to build atop of that, maybe some of the projects that are closer to getting that or have crossed that barrier?
Absolutely, yep.
So just try to do it quite briefly.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try to keep it brief. That's sort of the third pillar of our incentives program. One is liquidity incentives, two is the trading incentives, and the third is the execution of a GMX grants program. So about 1.5 million of the ARB incentives was reserved for grants going towards protocols building on GMX, integrating with GMX, and extending the Arbitrum DeFi ecosystem with the services they're building. And we got a very healthy response to that call for proposals. I think we're up to somewhere between 50 and 60 teams of builders that approached GMX with a proposal. So that's been quite an impressive response. I think about 16 or 17 have been confirmed and accepted by now, and we're currently dealing with the remaining proposals, trying to review everything properly and take our time to do that well, while taking into account that the STIP deadline is not that far away. So there's only a couple of months to have to get this all executed properly and get these teams building and integrating with GMX and having the incentives distributed. So it's a short time period in which a lot has to happen, and it's really wonderful to see all these great builders approach GMX and being enthusiastic about building on GMX v2. And I'm really excited to see what's going to come of that, because there are some exceptional ideas among those proposals, and I think it's going to lead to a significant boost in development for a lot of these accepted projects, and we're going to see some very healthy, flourishing DeFi projects spring up now on Arbitrum. So it's going to be interesting what's happening in the coming months. Let's take a 2 weeks of holiday break first before we head into the new year with another very healthy boost of new energy and development going on. That sounds good to me.
Thank you, man. We're looking forward to seeing this project spring up. Appreciate you guys being here. Up here from Stella, would be super curious to hear about how you guys are using the STIPs. I know that you guys have been on the forefront of a ton of different collaborative efforts with different teams here on the panel, as well as coming up later. So yeah, what's up, man?
Thanks, Andy. For sure. I'll just quickly give a brief introduction about Stella for those of the listeners who don't know. Stella is essentially a leverage yields protocol. So we add a layer of leverage on top of any high and sustainable yield source. What's unique about Stella is essentially that we allow users to borrow at 0% cost. There is no upfront borrowing fee. Instead, the lenders essentially make money from a chunk of the borrower's profits after they're done farming their position. Speaking about STIPs, I think it has been like an incredible experience. From the first order effects, I think our TVL has tripled since the start of the program. We have shipped a lot of new sort of integrations that have gone popular with Pendle, PenPy, and like a lot of I see a lot of friends in the panel. Like Trader Joe is someone we have integrated with. Silo is something we're shipping very soon in our next week. So yeah, a lot of integrations, seeing good tractions in terms of TVL. Most of the STIP incentives that we had were directed towards bootstrapping lending side liquidity, because we were always sort of struggling to match the lending side liquidity to keep up with the borrow side demand. And that's where we're directing it. The sort of second order effects that I think are like more underappreciated about STIP have been like bringing the community closer. I think because of that, we've been able to speak to a lot of more teams on Arbitrum. We have an integration on Camelot V3 going live tomorrow, in fact. And we will be building on top of the Nitro pools, which are built by Gamma on top of Camelot V3. So essentially, Gamma makes the yields passive. Stella leverages for high yields, and Camelot is the DEX. So it's going to be high leveraged passive yields. And yeah, we're also like cooking up a Stella V2, and we're very excited to launch that in Q1 of next year.
Awesome. Yeah, we couldn't get a hold of the Camelot guys. So if anybody can and get them on the tail end of this, that would be great. And I appreciate your insights. Moving on to the last one here, Smoothie. Please be somewhat brief, but please would love to hear about Senko, kind of how you guys are positioning in Arbitrum.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm Smoothie from Psycho Game Corp. Psycho is a social media and gaming platform here on Arbitrum. If you're not familiar, our biggest recent launch is Psycho TV, which is our streaming platform and social network. You can set up an account with a Privy wallet, and then you can start like streaming video, watching other people's content, simping e-girls, other streamers, etc. and so forth. We're really grateful to have received 500K ARB from the STIP program for our users. And that's going to be distributed based on very sophisticated metrics, such as how much fun you're currently having on Psycho TV. If you go on and stream, tip other users, buy passes to other people's profiles. Basically, if you go on Psycho TV and play around, you're building up your points for ARB rewards for the airdrop. So it's been live for a little over a month, and seeing the community kind of develop itself over that time has been quite cool. There's already like a lot of gamers and people streaming as they like write their code or do other stuff. Last night I was watching someone's cooking show, which is really fun. Just incredibly wholesome content. Of course, one thing we're working on is, which we would love to continue discussing with maybe one of the native protocols here and collaborate on, is a live degen game show where people are doing like a trading challenge of like 100x leverage with a starting $500 position, and just kind of watch how that plays out live on TV for everyone to enjoy. but yeah, we're really, really excited about Psycho TV and the updates that we're rolling out, including video on demand, as well as a bunch of our own new gaming projects coming in Q1. As you know, the social media and the gaming platforms are kind of integrated. But yeah, thanks for having us. Log on to Psycho TV and have fun on the platform, and maybe build up some Arb rewards.
Love it. Yeah, it looks like Darius was here from Vertex, and I don't see the lad from Galaxy. So let's keep this one rolling for the next couple of minutes here. And yeah, I would like to kind of hear more from Blue and Upright. They didn't get as much time. So Blue, is there anything else that you're looking to do for the remainder of the STIP program that you're specifically excited about with Trader Joe? Whether it be upcoming collaborations, or are there any types of are there any collaborations or types of collaborations that you'd be looking to kind of run with?
Yeah, good question. I think part of our STIP was to allocate Arb rewards to new tokens, and these could be brand new tokens that are launching from established protocols on Arbitrum, or just new tokens that are entering the ecosystem. Maybe they're migrating over, or maybe they're just expanding into Arbitrum. So there's a level of flexibility we have to help encourage builders to come over. We recognize one of the problems of bringing over liquidity is trying to bootstrap that liquidity to get to hit a sustainable level that liquidity needs to be able to facilitate trading. So this Arb STIP kind of program we have, part of that allocation is to specifically allocate towards brand new tokens and their liquidity pools that are launching. So we've got an element of freedom from that respect. I think just later today, actually, a new token, a new protocol they're deploying over from Algorand. They're called Opulus. It's like it's all to do with the music industry, and this is like a brand new part of Arbitrum, brand new token, real world asset based on the music industry. It's really quite unique, and we'd be happy to support them by growing their liquidity on Arbitrum through use of this Arb, through use of these Arb rewards. So that announcement is going to be later today or tomorrow. And then there's the main thing about our program is that level of flexibility. So there'll be no doubt more protocols over the coming months that will be able to help support that are brand new into Arbitrum. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, and we've got Jake from Galaxy, kind of the OG questing DAO. How are you handling the STIPs? What's your plans for the quest, the collaborations, get the community involved, more users? How you doing?
Hey man, well, how are you? Thanks for putting this together, and thanks for having me. So I'm Jake. I'm from Galaxy. For anybody that is not familiar with Galaxy, we are a growth platform that is going to help you engage with a global audience of users. We're going to help you manage and reward your current community members for any ecosystem. And on the user side, we're a discover to earn protocol that helps you build out your reputation and identity throughout the blockchain space, and also helps you explore blockchain's amazing applications and what it has to offer. So we were, luckily able to secure a 500,000 ARB grant, and it kind of goes back to being a discover to earn protocol and being able to showcase Arbitrum's ecosystem, the Galaxy's community of 14 million unique users. And what we're doing with this 500k ARB is we've distributed subsidies to each participating protocol. I think we've had close to, I'd say, roughly 30 protocols in the first wave, and we'll be doing a few other waves. And I think we'll also be including the subsidy in our upcoming holiday campaign. We'll share more information on that soon. And what we did is we let these Arbitrum applications, the DeFi applications, choose which actions they like to track and incentivize, which part of their protocols that they like to amplify. And then these users, they were able to explore these different applications, deposit, stake, swap, whatever action that may be. And then as the incentive, the reward for doing so, these users would become eligible for these ARB tokens in a raffle functionality that they can get their hands on, and that's how we're distributing the ARB to these users. And I think the first round we've seen close to 150,000 ARB distributed to users. So it's been successful so far. We've liked what we saw, and we're super pumped and excited to continue building on top of this, showcasing Arbitrum applications and being able to onboard users to the ecosystem. So it's been a pleasure so far.
Love it. Yeah, we've got Socket in the audience. I sent out an invite to speak. If you got that, feel free to come up on stage. In the meantime, I think we've got a couple speakers here from still the first couple panels, so definitely down to keep the conversation going. Maybe since we do have Galaxy up on stage, thanks for the rundown, Jake. Have any of the projects here used Galaxy in a quest type of format, or any ongoing types of paths that you see your community getting involved?
Yeah, so I think a lot of these protocols, we have worked with a few new ones for this Arbitrum STIP program that we're running, but a lot of them we've been partners with for a while. We have over, I'd say, 4,100 different partners, and the idea is for them to come to Galaxy, not to just run one campaign, but to really build out their long-term loyalty program. And throughout these loyalty programs, through NFTs collected, loyalty points accumulated, these applications can identify their loyal contributors through credentials as well, and at the same time, in parallel, begin building out their own unique Web3 CRM through all these different data touch points. So we have a lot of different initiatives that we put on ourselves to help showcase, Arbitrum applications and also applications across different blockchains. And we also have dApps that like to run their own campaigns, that are part of their loyalty program. And I think the nice part about it is, especially for some of the dApps in the STIP program that we're running, they've used Galaxy to power social growth and also power on-chain growth as well. So it's nice to be able to drive growth on both sides of the aisle simultaneously.
Love it. Yeah, it's really cool to see all of the activity and the adoption that's happening from Galaxy as kind of like a first step. So great work. And now we've got Socket up on stage. Very, very warm welcome to Socket. I think probably our first interop protocol that we've had on today. So Socket, I'm not sure who's behind the mic, but welcome to the panel.
Hey folks, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Hi all. Thanks for having us here. I'm Sriram, heading marketing for Socket, and maybe I can just give a quick intro of Socket just for the rest of the audience here. So at Socket, we are building an interoperability protocol, which is basically helping smart contracts send assets and data between chains. Right? So we are today heading towards a multi-blockchain world. We have rollups, we have app chains and app rollups, and we are just having an explosion of all these chains. And what Socket is trying to enable is apps on different chains should be able to talk to each other, should be able to send assets, and only then we kind of get to a more homogeneous experience for users, as well as like for making the whole app more efficient, right? So that's what we've been doing. We have like almost an ecosystem of 100+ partners. We've been working with Arbitrum very closely from the launch. So yeah, been pretty exciting things that have been happening from the start, and like the whole STIP grant is like something we've been grateful to be a part of and win, and we're really excited to roll that out soon.
What's the plans to roll it out?
So currently we have like a few smart contract changes that are rolling up. So we are kind of planning to launch the whole STIP grant in the first or second week of January. So currently the way we are kind of distributing is like majority of the grant is going to go towards subsidizing costs for users to onboard to Arbitrum. So like if you remember, like the whole Arbitrum Odyssey was the main thing. The Arbitrum, like there was like a few weeks of campaign, but the first week was specifically bridge week, right? Because like the first most important step for Arbitrum to kind of grow and gain a lot of adoption is getting users right into Arbitrum. So at Socket also, the way we're kind of thinking about using the grant, like the main thing we're kind of propose and how we'll be deploying the whole grant is firstly subsidizing the cost for users. So any user from any chain should be able to come to Arbitrum without having to pay a lot of gas fees or also need to bear the cost of bridging fees. So there'll be like most of the Arbitrum will be kind of giving out as rebates. So people kind of get 80% of their bridging fees, ensuring that there is no Sybil possibilities, but at the same time for any new user who wants to come, they can just kind of come from any chain onto Arbitrum, right? So that we kind of think is like that will be kind of a major boost. And specifically like Arbitrum natively just allows this from Ethereum, but Socket being an intra-bridge protocol lets users come from every other chain, from Polygon to Optimism, Base, any other chain. People can just come into not just Arbitrum, but also directly into all the Arbitrum apps, right? So that's one thing we're kind of very excited about. Secondly, we're also using the grants to help all these new Polygon, all these Arbitrum Orbit chains to kind of bring bridging experience direct to them. So Arbitrum Orbit chains, which have been kind of started already being blooming, and there are like multiple Orbit chains that are upcoming. So what Socket is doing is like we're working very closely with some of these chains to bring bridging to them from day zero, right? So what that means is any Orbit chain can just kind of spin up, have Socket under the hood to bring bridging, and you just get instant transfers, zero cost transfers from every chain to the new Orbit chain. So these are the two things we're working on. We're working with all of our partners. So hope we'll probably launch it very soon in the month of January. So that's the plan.
Okay, get that layer 3 app-specific roll-up interoperable, and maybe that's what we'd like to share. Thank you so much for coming on. And next up, we have Amit from TimeSwap. I think Rob met these guys out in Istanbul at DevConnect, if I'm not mistaken. Rob, I'm not sure if you met Amit, but I remember seeing their presence out there. So Amit, GM, what is going on? What's some reflections you have on STIPs? Where can we find some nice, juicy yields on chain? Some thoughtful collaborations, and what is TimeSwap up to, man?
Awesome. Hey, am I audible? Just want to confirm.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Awesome. Good evening. Awesome. Yeah, nice to meet you guys again. I guess it was lovely bumping into you guys in Istanbul. So yeah, thank you for hosting this and getting the community together again. I guess probably after the process of STIP, I guess it's good to circle back after a month and connect with the whole crew here. I see Blue from Trader Joe. Hey, Blue. Socket obviously is old friends of ours. Jonesy from GMX. So nice to see all the GMS eco here. So we were also lucky to receive the STIP grant for 200,000 ARB token as part of the STIP process. Talking about TimeSwap, it's a fully decentralized lending borrowing protocol. Essentially, it's an AMM that is designed on the principle of Uniswap, but enables you to, let's say, do lending borrowing at fixed maturity without using any oracles. So thereby, you're basically safe from any sort of, let's say, oracle manipulations that has affected most of the lending markets that, let's say, target the long tail assets. So this basically means we can safely list any ERC20 token. So obviously, we currently have the ARB token live on the platform. We also have like Stake.DAO from Trader Joe. We have the GM token for Solana as collateral from GMX, and like Pendle and many of the flagship DeFi protocols and their assets are live as collateral on TimeSwap today. And yeah, the STIP has been a great boost for us. Obviously, as a protocol, we don't have a token yet. So I think the incentive has definitely helped us scale and increase our volume. I think our TVL has gone up like 6x in the last month. Volume also similar numbers. So overall, I guess the STIP has been very good for us. I think it's also, I think I heard Apoorv mentioning earlier that this brought together community as well. I think definitely, got to meet so many new teams. A lot of new collaboration ideas came through the STIP program, and excited to continue the distribution of rewards, I guess, in the coming weeks. I think The only a very small portion has been distributed from our end till now. I think probably less than 5%. I think the balance is going out in the next few weeks and couple of months. So exciting opportunities to earn yield on a lot of assets. I think we're going to launch with Lido next week and some other interesting LST protocols in the coming few weeks. And yeah, overall, it's been great experience for us. I think overall things are looking up, market is looking up. So yeah, excited to be here. And yeah, thank you for inviting us.
Amazing. Thanks for coming on. Very stoked to see the integration with Lido coming into fruition. That's going to be very, very cool. Oh, I think I may have gotten muted somehow, but if you
sorry. Yeah, I was saying I see George from Wo also. Wo5 was also one of our earliest partners and long-standing partners. So excited to see you guys also here.
Yeah, George, let's hear it. What's the collaboration plans with TimeSwap, if already executed? How's it gone? And then kind of, is there any plans going forward further on? And welcome to the stage, and would love to hear about Woo and the STIPs, George.
Yeah, sure. We've been sort of working with TimeSwap for a couple of months now. Very, very glad that we met them and kind of became friends. And sort of they opened up a whole new sort of world of utility for like WooFi Earn LP tokens on Arbitrum, which has been sort of great for anyone who is like a WooFi yield farmer on Arbitrum. Yeah, so we're very happy about that. Sort of, yeah, today was a big day as well for us. We just published a 17-page comprehensive report on everything that's happened this year for the Woo ecosystem. And for those who don't know the Woo ecosystem, it's a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange. So we'd definitely urge you to check that out. It's you could just kind of go to the WooFi page, and we retweeted it earlier. Sort of outlines. It's very detailed, highlighting sort of pretty much anything and everything. So would urge you to check that out. And as for our STIP incentives, STIP, it sort of occupies a funny part in my life. We were, unfortunately, like in the original round, we were the immediate project that got cut off. We like, in terms of like the projects that qualified, we were just below, like the first project to just not be below the threshold. So it was quite hard sort of watching our good friends and partners like TimeSwap and Trader Joe and many others, GMX, sort of getting that. But thankfully with the back fund, obviously that proposal to back fund successful STIP proposals has gone through, which you wouldn't believe how grateful I am for. And so that means, 1 million ARB tokens is coming to WooFi. Really, really chuffed about that. And it should be sort of flowing through 6 different means. It will be a bunch of earned vaults on Arbitrum. So WooFi has 4 vaults on Arbitrum, one for USDC, ARB, ETH, and Wrap Bitcoin. 4 vaults. Those I think are going to share in about 200,000 ARB, streamed over 3 months, I would say, just sort of evenly between them. Single-sided yield, nice and passive. It's not concentrated liquidity. You don't have to adjust the range. Nice and like lazy LPing. We'll chug some in for WooFi Pro. For those who don't know WooFi Pro, new perks platform we launched about a month ago. There's going to be rewards for new users, kind of like just like a lucky draw, right? Deposit, make your first trade. Some people will win that, rolling each week, along with basically trade mining. So if you're moving taker volume on WooFi Pro, there's going to be, I think, about 8,000 ARB rolling each week that you can win or that you can sort of earn a share of. We'll be incentivizing WooFi Stake. So 80% of WooFi's swap fees are sort of being shared as real yield for people who stake the Woo token. Sort of yield right now is about 10%. We're going to be injecting 200,000 ARB again over 3 months into WooFi Stake. Really hoping those yields could get to like 15%. I think we're very excited about that. We'll be rebating swaps on Arbitrum. We'll be also rebating sort of inbound, Arbitrum inbound cross-chain swaps to incentivize more people to come in. We've also allocated some for quests and for builders who want to integrate our widget, which we've not formally launched, but it's there and it's ready, which is kind of like a white label tool for protocols who sort of want to have like a swap feature inside of them, like a something like a questing platform or a money market that doesn't actually have swaps can kind of integrate that. But honestly, you wouldn't believe how excited I am to what I saw that proposal go through, to know that we're getting that arb, and I think our community was over the moon as well. And the premise of our whole proposal was to showcase that we can bring in users from CeFi into DeFi. We in Woo, we have a centralized exchange. There's like 130,000 registered users using that platform. I think for us, a big measure of success will be, by the end of STIP, our incentives in sort of hopefully in March, if this proposal to extend the deadline goes through, how many of those, have we brought over? But sort of quietly confident we should be able to migrate many of these users into Arbitrum.
Awesome. And glad to see the collaboration with Galaxy as well. And I'm wondering, where can we get some of these socks?
You saw the socks, yeah. I was glad that they were received so well. Andy, check your DMs, sir. I'll be reaching out.
I love some good crypto socks. Cheers for being here. And shout out to Savvy and with IDM here. Savvy kind of really pushed the needle on this back funding idea, which is kind of surprising to me in a way that Savvy was relatively new to this community. So, I'm curious on kind of the vibes that you guys to kind of hear their take on the back funding. But first, IDM, Savvy, how are you guys doing? And,
hey, GM. Hopefully, my audio is coming through. I'm trying to use the web browser client for X or whatever. But very happy to be here. So we got into STIP back funding really just because we got so into STIP. We put together a cool application, and along with Alex Lumley, really we started off trying to, even before the vote concluded, we started doing research on the DAO to figure out how we could reach delegates and let them know about our proposal, answer their questions. That actually started the research kind of angle of all of this, was me talking to Alex. And one thing led to another. We did actually get enough delegates to support our proposal that it met the criteria. So, we were really disappointed when the budget ran out before we could get any of those incentives to distribute for using the protocol. So I started looking at the data some more, and Alex, he was just tireless with all of this. He set up a ton of meetings with really key individuals. They told us stories, we took notes. I would go back to the data, conduct some new analysis, try to get some answers. And over the course of a couple of days, we figured out, a couple different ways that we could go about this. One of them was this like budgeting error. How did the DAO vote 2 times? The first time for 50 million, and then like a couple weeks later they voted to authorize 75 million. So that was an interesting kind of collective decision-making thing, but people didn't really get fired up about that. Nobody really cared too much. So we talked to more people. We figured out too then that the way that the ranking was used to determine who got funded versus who wasn't going to be in that funded cohort, it just turned out that excluded pretty much all the small protocols. Out of a bunch of the funded protocols, only 4 were going to get through in this smallest grant tier. So when we realized that the data set for which we were going to determine long-term incentives, when we realized that raw data was going to be based off of this really biased sample that ended up systematically excluding all the new protocols coming to Arbitrum, all the new protocols that were approved. But because of the ranking mechanism, they weren't going to get the funding. Well, that actually turned out to be a more compelling narrative where we started connecting with people when we were explaining actually by, and it was nobody's fault, but just by the way that we did it, almost all the small protocols got left out of the funding. And so we're just not going to have any information about how small protocols use incentives on Arbitrum. And so STIP will happen, it'll be good, but it's going to miss this really key component of growing the Arbitrum ecosystem. And so that part really had some legs. People really started getting motivated about that. And so I actually wrote the first draft of the STIP back funding, the AIP. And I based it off the research, but then I was really just looking at the Arbitrum DAO constitution, just like side by side with the application. And when it came to the rationale, that's kind of how things ended up being framed in terms of inclusiveness. We kind of found a match between how the data, we're going to end up having this blind spot with all the small protocols being missing. And that wasn't, you couldn't really rectify that with the way that, like, the Arbitrum DAO kind of knew that in its values that it would be a healthier ecosystem by working with protocols at all stages of their life cycle with all different TVLs. Like it's gonna result in Arbitrum ecosystem being stronger. So it's a good value. And anyway, so we kind of connected everything through with the DAO constitution at that point. And that's how it ended up being this like STIP inclusiveness kind of narrative. It really had to do with the data sample having a blind spot and connecting that through with what was going to be with the way that the DAO was going to like fall short of its own ideals. And the rest, I mean, geez, Alex Lumley was just a powerhouse connecting absolutely everybody. I mean, the reason it was the most popular vote in DAO, the Arbitrum DAO so far is because Alex had the right energy. It was absolutely amazing. But anyway, yeah. That's the soliloquy. Let me pause there for a second because I just brain dumped a whole lot.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be curious to hear from Cozy about kind of his thoughts on that kind of sagging development from like the OG's shoes, and also kind of switching into Premia and the perspectives and the STIPs that you guys have been operating.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Same. I'm trying from web client now, seeing how this works. Well, GM everyone. Yeah, I didn't really think it was, I thought it was really productive. I got to kind of see a lot of the conversation going on in the Arbitrum DAO and seeing everyone kind of come together. And I think like the STIP, the back funding proposals, a lot of the other proposals that they've worked on, it's been cool to see how for Arbitrum, it's very kind of grassroots and ground up. It's a lot of the protocols taking the lead and working together to find solutions. So it's been a cool experience thus far, and I'm happy to see more projects that were deserving of grant funding get included in a round. And on the Premia side of things, so if people don't know what Premia is, we are an options protocol on Arbitrum. How we're using our STIP, we got allocated a 900K Arbitrum grant. We've broken it up into a few different activities, I guess you could say, or qualified sectors in which we're distributing it for. We had 600K that in ARB that we are using to incentivize our vaults, our different underwriter vaults that we have for both the put and the call side. We have 200K in ARB that are being used currently for range order incentives. And then we have 100K for partner incentives for partners launching, vaults or pools on our platform. So right now, like GMX and Frax
Magic, I believe, are currently incentivized. We've got a lot going on, so can go into like all the other things that are actually going on right now during it. We're calling it kind of blue season. Arbitrum, Premia. It's blue is such a soothing color. But we have a trading competition going on. There's 100K in prizes total over the course of the 8 weeks. We have quests with extra rewards on Galaxy. 50% off referrals, or 50% rebate on referrals till January 31st. So yeah, there's a whole lot going on, and we kind of broke up rather than do a giant, global trading competition where people may be disincentivized to test out the platform and try things in the arena. We broke it up and we're doing each week a different competition. So it's a season of competitive things. So that people who are maybe on vacation, 1 week and can't make it, so feel like they're going to fall behind or it's not worth participating. Or maybe they're not the best trader, so they see the guys with like the huge P&L percents or raw P&L percents that are far outside of what they think they'll be trading. They're not discouraged from still trying to come to learn. And if you know nothing about options, we have a great academy at academy.premia.blue. You don't have to, it's platform agnostic. So if you just want to come and learn about options, but you have a preferred platform that you'd rather trade on, it doesn't bother us. Although we'd love if you traded on Premia. We made it that way purposely so that it could be used as just kind of a public good resource for people looking to get into options.
Yeah, just want to add about the vault. So Cozy mentioned the assets we got. I just want to say you guys should take a look at the vault. Some of the rates you might find pretty interesting, especially on assets like Solana. In general, the STIP has been really interesting to see how it takes a few days for the rates to like price in. It feels like because there's so much hype on other ecosystems right now in crypto, some people are fading this mini Arbitrum season. So yeah, to give it a look, you might find something you like. And did you mention the STIP being live for the range orders too, Cozy?
I did.
Okay. So that's all I got.
Fading Arbitrum season. Couldn't be any of these high rollers.
Listen, Solana is getting a lot of hype. Cosmos is getting a lot of hype. But yeah, I still love Arbitrum.
Yeah. Love it. Let's keep it moving. Yes, Solana's partying with their meme coins. They're having fun. We're having fun too. Mooks protocol. Come on up. Give us a shout and tell us how you're distributing these STIPs and how the experience has been so far.
Hey, GM. This is Jing from Mooks protocol. Yeah, super excited to join this activity here and witness the tremendous growth of the Arbitrum ecosystem. Yeah, so for Mooks, we are an aggregator of the decentralized perpetual swaps. So we have integrated with GMX V1 and V2 and gains, and also we have our Mooks native pool here. So what Mooks do is we route the positions to different liquidity sources to offer the traders with the optimized trading cost. So with the aggregator, we provide a couple of cool features. The first one is that the aggregated liquidity, because right now the liquidity is kind of fragmented on different chains and different protocols. By aggregating with all of them, so right now Mooks, we have around $500 million regarding the liquidity by integrating with the different protocols. And also another cool feature is the market options for the for the traders. Again, we are able to provide the different and the diverse market options by integrating with other protocols. Another cool feature is the leverage boosting. So where on Mux, we are able to boost the leverage of the integrated protocols to up to 100 times. So for GMX, we have already enabled the V1 boosting. Probably I think in 1 week or two, we are able to launch the leverage boosting for GMX V2 and more to come for sure. Yeah, so yeah, this is basically like what other mugs can do. Yeah, so we are super honored and excited to receive about like 6 million ARB in the STIP grant. So right now, like all of our grant will go to the trading side. So right now, what we do is that we rebate the open fee and closing fee for the traders to 0. So it's not like zero fee to trade, but it's like almost 0. So we still have some like minor fees to charge, for example, the funding fee and borrowing fee for different protocols. But for the opening fee and the closing fee, we rebate to 0, which is like a great way to attract the users, especially from other ecosystem or even from the centralized exchanges to have a try on the product. Yeah, so yeah, it has been like we have witnessed like a tremendous growth since the November the 16th when we started the grant. So right now, like we have already generated like $3.8 billion regarding the trading volume during the grant season, and also the fees generated from those trading volumes is about like $2.8 million, which is a lot. So we are super excited. So like besides that, actually, one highlight I kind of want to mention is that we haven't allocated any incentive to the liquidity side yet, because we believe that like with more trading volume generated, more trading fee generated, we were able to can kind of boost the yield for the liquidity side, which is actually what is exactly happening right now. Because of those huge trading volume generated from the season, that right now the APR for Mux native pool right now is around like 66% APR, and it's pretty real because like 60% of the APR is actually in ETH. It's not like in other coins. So like it's pretty much the real yield. And also for BE holders of Mux, like BE holders is like whoever stake our native token, which is MCB, they will have like a VE holders, and the VE holders are also extremely high right now, caused by the trading volume, which is like more than 100%, and 97% of the yield of VE holders is actually generated by the it's in the form of ETH, also by real yield. So we are kind of witnessing like a positive loop here, that more trading volume generated, more fees to allocate it to the LPs and BE holders, other stakeholders. So yeah, this is a great journey. I'm looking forward to see more growth in the rest of the journey. Yeah, pretty much of it.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. That's there's tons of alpha all in there about how to get the most of the 6 million ARB incentives going through Mux. And we're consistently pinning tweets to the top here. So if you're curious about some of these programs and how projects are distributing, go ahead, take a scroll through those tweets, and you'll find lots and lots of opportunities to earn ARB. We are still running a couple minutes behind, so we're gonna go ahead and move over to Dolomite. I think we've got Corey up here from Dolomite. Corey, go ahead. Floor is yours. How are you guys experiencing the STIPs?
Hey guys, Corey from Dolomite here, one of the co-founders. And STIP program has been tremendous for us in terms of growth of not just TVL, but community. Since we've launched the STIP, we've increased by over about 250% or so in TVL. We've had a lot more borrowing activity start to show up on the platform. And actually, as recently as last night, we had our largest borrow position get opened ever. And this is what we wanted to see happen with larger blocks start to come through with the increase in liquidity. What we did differently with our ARB that was granted to us, which we got 1 million ARB tokens, is we created a program called OARB, where we distribute OARB each week, depending on how much liquidity you deposit in the protocol, and we measure liquidity for lendable assets. And the process of converting OARB to ARB is done in such a way where we try to align the incentives of the Arbitrum DAO with our growth and with the farmers that are basically coming onto the platform and graciously depositing their liquidity. Essentially, the process gives you a discount to purchase the converted OARB to ARB, depending on how long you want to do this vesting process for. And because you have to pair real ARB with the OARB tokens, it basically bottlenecks whales from participating in the program if they don't already own ARB tokens. So what we've seen happen with this program is examples like users actually withdrawing funds from Binance, for example, and depositing on the Dolomite in order to do this pairing process, which is great because it's obviously bringing more activity back on chain from centralized exchanges. And it's also proving that people need to actually hold the asset longer term in order to realize the gains that they have accrued by getting these OARB tokens. Mixing with that, we actually have this system called Dolomite XP or Community XP that allows community members that are active, whether it's on social events or actively using the site, to get experience points very similar to what you see in a video game. And we were one of the first platforms to use a platform or use a system like this to actually benefit people on chain. So that vesting process I described beforehand, if you are a Dolomite level 4 user or above, you're actually able to accelerate that vesting process by about 50%. So it's a really exciting endeavor that allows people that have been actively with us in the community since day one to feel rewarded because they are reaping the benefit of that through the OARB program. And for us, it's a great way for users who are not level 4 yet to get more acclimated with the features that Dolomite has to offer. So taking a step back, Dolomite is a lending protocol. We consider ourselves a next generation one because we built out this really innovative virtual liquidity system that allows us to do things that other platforms cannot. So Arbitrum in particular has grown extremely successful because of the innovation that other protocols, other DeFi protocols have brought to the table. And that innovation can be looked at with platforms like GMX, for example, where you can stake your GMX tokens, you can escrow them. You can also claim and compound your yield that comes back in real yield in terms of ETH. And these are all really cool things that make DeFi special compared to traditional finance. The fact that you can hold an asset or a token and it can do all these really cool things. But unfortunately, if you deposit those assets onto other lending platforms, they don't actually have a mechanism for which that you can retain these really cool features. On Dolomite, we call these your DeFi native rights as a user. So whether you want to vote with your tokens, escrow, stake, claim, etc., Dolomite's a platform where you actually can continue to do those things even while you're borrowing against your assets at the exact same time. So how this ties into the Dolomite XP program and the ARB STIP and all this is we actually have campaigns where users can actually get experience or gain levels from experiencing or doing some of these unique things on Dolomite that you can't find elsewhere. So we've established a pretty strong funnel for people to come to the platform, get rewarded yield for doing so. And if you want to take that investment in terms of attention one step further, then you can experience all the really neat things that Dolomite has to offer beyond that. And it's been a really enlightening process for us so far, and we're very grateful for the Arbitrum DAO voting us in and being able to experiment with such a unique and innovative system.
Very cool. And you guys have recently integrated Radiant, Jones, and Premia into the platform, which is very... Let's go. Tell us a little bit about that as we kind of wrap up this panel here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we consider Dolomite to be like a DeFi hub where our responsibility is to unlock roadblocks in the DeFi ecosystem. So with some of those altcoins that you mentioned, we of course listed them in the platform so you could borrow against them. They're all Zap-enabled assets. So you can use our really cool Zap feature to one-click leverage, hedge, or loop your positions, which you can access from the borrow page. And we like to take our integrations one step deeper wherever we can. So in the case of, for example, Jones, when they released JUSDC staking through, of course, their allocation of the STIP program. What you can do on Dolomite is actually stake your JUSDC and get direct access to the ARB yield that comes through by virtue of their STIP. And you can do that while actively borrowing against your JUSDC and looping it at the exact same time. So recently we actually saw like a couple $100,000 worth of JUSDC come in, and people were actively looping that on our platform and paying USDC borrow rates in order to increase their exposure to JUSDC and the yield plus the farming rewards that it offers, which once again is one of those really unique things that you just can't find elsewhere. So we're actively pursuing different opportunities like this where we can try to add value to other ecosystems, unlock new capabilities for their community to try out on Dolomite. So if you're a platform building cool things on Arbitrum and want to see how Dolomite can potentially help your user base and unlock new capabilities, please do reach out.
Offering more efficiency out of Radiant, Premium, and Jones. It's a really cool initiative that allows then guys like Cozy to design the tokenomics with the team in a more sophisticated way, because now the possibilities are kind of a bit more open. And I guess just Cozy, if you have any quick thoughts on kind of anything that you were thinking with Dolomite on the lending side, we'd love to hear it, and then we'll kind of move to the next panel.
I don't want to spill too much alpha, but we've been discussing exotic collateral types, we could say. But also shout out while we're on here to some other guests, like you have Socket up here, longtime partner, I love them. Silo also recently supported us as collateral. Obviously the GMX, Magic, all those guys. So I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, we're definitely exploring different types of collateral that could be used, and looking at protocols like Dolomite to facilitate that with us.
Move to the next panel. Thank you so much, guys, for that one. We've got some dope lads up here next. Stake.DAO, Perennial, and Dailies. Let's jump over to Perennial. AJ is here. What's going on, AJ? Welcome. Welcome to the STIP space, the marathon. What are you guys contributing to the ecosystem, and who are you collaborating with? What's your plan?
Yeah, thank you for having me up, Andy. Much appreciated. And I guess for those who aren't aware, Perennial is a perpetual swap protocol. We've been live on Arbitrum since the start of the year, and we managed to do some decent volume in our V1, but it was really good timing with when the STIP program started, because we just released our V2. Which has been super useful in terms of bootstrapping liquidity and sort of getting things underway. In terms of our V2, we moved to a model where takers are first matched with other takers, like longs and shorts are matched together, and then LPs come in and fill in the gap. So ideally, LPs can be delta neutral, and we've been working with some great partners like Gauntlet in terms of balancing the open interest on the platform. And I guess with this sort of model, there's a heap of great features around obviously the LP side, and LPs having access to leverage on Perennial, but then also, high leverage, like up to 100x, some multi-collateral vaults as well. And the STIP has been, as I sort of alluded to, just really helpful in terms of growing the liquidity on the platform. So now in V2 with the maker leverage component, there's up to 19 mil in liquidity on the protocol, and we've also seen a steady volume growth over the past, sort of 3-4 weeks as well, averaging, the 24-hour high of around 23 million, which is something we've been happy with, just to sort of start that flywheel between, getting trader feedback and constantly improving the product, and continuing to onboard liquidity providers as well. And in terms of the LP risk on the platform, it's been great to see that declining as well. So over time, the steady delta has been less than 10%. And one of the great things about Perennial, having this leverage component for makers, is that, a pro maker, we've had different, market makers on the protocol, more sophisticated operators who are, earning, north of 200% APYs before those ARB incentives even kick in by LPing at, 5, 6, 7x leverage, which has been really pleasing to see. And so far, we've been allocating the STIP pretty much 50-50 between these between takers on the protocol, doing like time-weighted open interest rewards, as well as specific LP rewards for coming into the protocol with leverage, which makes the whole system more capital efficient in a general sense. But yeah, it's been a blast to be a part of this program. And yeah, as I said, it's been instrumental in terms of bootstrapping the protocol and starting to prove out a level of product market fit for this V2. I would say, especially, I guess there's always going to be a level of liquidity, or you could always pay for liquidity with like the blue chip assets. But we've also made an effort to, bootstrap some longer tail markets. And, moving forward, we'd love to continue to be, one of the first protocols to have, assets as soon as they list, or as soon as they're available on Dex Screener as a shitcoin, to have them listed on Perennial as well. And yeah, I guess in terms of some of the success stats, so the STIP, we've had about 250 million in volume since things started, and yeah, launching markets on a weekly basis. We're up to roughly 9 now, and always interested to get community feedback on sort of what that next market is. Yeah, it's so far so good, and the roadmap is sort of only going to get more exciting for Perennial users as we move forward. During this STIP rollout, we've also been undergoing like a V2.1 upgrade to Perennial as well. So over the next couple of weeks, our users can look forward to commodities and FX trading on Perennial, and we've been working with an Oracle provider as well on some NFT markets as well for like individual assets, which we're excited to release. As well as that, you might be aware that people have been launching new user interfaces on top of Perennial. So we've got some great partners in that realm with the Buffer Finance guys who have just launched their own perps, and of course the CryptX team, who have been long-time supporters of us, who have launched their own exchanges via Perennial and sort of tap into Perennial as the liquidity layer underneath. And as we sort of look to release all these new features, we'll also be ideally adding some more assets to our passive LP vaults, introducing some exotic collateral types, introducing some of the features traders have come to know and love, like P&L sharing, referrals, and yeah, constantly releasing new markets as well. But yeah, I believe happy to answer any questions, but I guess in the order of keeping things going, my teammate Jacob's also up here on the stage as well.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys? I work with AJ pretty closely at Perennial. Just wanted to do a quick run through of kind of where we're at right now with STIP stuff, kind of what we're doing. As AJ alluded to, I mean, the STIP has been awesome just to bring a ton of people in who were sitting on the sidelines, now starting to use Arbitrum protocols and Perennial. I think we sort of couldn't be situated better here. On the trader side, we have 200% fee rebates and leaderboard rewards. The 200% fee rebate is really interesting because it means you can basically get up to your full 4-bit base fee rebated plus some rebate on price slippage, which means that like right now for a 500K trade, after rebates, you basically get no fees and no price impact. So that's been pretty cool. And then on the LP side, AJ alluded to this a little bit, but there's LPs right now using leverage, earning somewhere on the order of like 200 to 300%. And with no leverage, kind of just our basic vault product, we're looking at like 60 to 80% APY. And all those parameters have sort of been tuned by Gauntlet. So it's been cool to see LP risk sort of reduce over time. And we have a couple updates in the product pipeline coming soon that'll sort of bring the vaults even closer to delta neutral. And yeah, aside from that, we have a lot of firepower behind us in Perennial. Things are just getting started. We'll have referrals coming out, an ambassador program, and probably a lot more than there.
Thanks, guys, for coming on. And yeah, we heard of you guys through Buffers, so definitely doing good work and excited to see you kind of work underneath and on as a front-facing protocol as well. Tossing it over to Red from Thales. GM, sir, how are you guys doing? You're part of the back funding, so probably getting your ducks in a row a bit. Kind of what are you guys thinking to do incentivize the community as well as some potential collaborations in the Arbitrum space?
Hey, GM, how are you guys doing?
GM, sir.
Thanks.
5-0.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us. I'm Red from Dailies, as Andy introduced. As Tilly's, we received the CIP through the back funding program, so really grateful for Arbitrum governance for voting that in. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here with y'all today. We getting 500,000 ARB token, and that's going to be introduced very soon. We still don't have the tokens in our treasury, but as soon as that is in, we'll be starting with our usage proposal. So basically what we're looking at, we basically got 140,000 ARB that will be given over 14 weeks for direct usage incentive. So these include global trading volume incentive for discount buyers to help balance the AMM. And then we'll earmark 200,000 ARB, so about 20,000 per week for 10 weeks to pay for fee rebates. So basically, just to downgrade everyone's fee, that will be obviously live on both Tilly's market product and also on our sports market product, such as Overtime. So that'll be pretty exciting there. It'll be pretty cheap, and we'll have definitely the best VIG in the game with this implemented. And that'll be only on Arbitrum, right? So you can only get these little bonus on ARB. So keep that in mind. And then the next one up, I think that's my favorite. That's where we really shine. We'll earmark 160,000 ARB token. That'll be for trading competition, incentive focus, really on trading activity on certain groups of markets, such as sports tournament and playoff, right? We got NFL playoff here coming soon, a Super Bowl as well. So that's definitely something that will be throwing lots of ARBs at. So I'm really excited to show up what we've been working on with that. And then you guys know what's after Super Bowl in February. Well, it's basketball and March Madness, which is always a freaking blast. So we're really excited to reveal what we do with these. So over time we'll have some incentive. Dailies Market will have some incentive, all on Arbitrum. That'll be a blast.
Let's go.
More on-chain fun for me and more reward.
That's awesome. And apparently we can speak on the spaces on desktop now. That's what I'm doing now, so that's bullish. All right. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Red. We will continue having fun and sports degenning over on Overtime. And then we'll keep this moving here. I think next up, and to round out this panel that we have, which is our fifth or sixth panel, we've got Hubert from Stake.DAO. Hubert, you were also part of, or Stake.DAO was also part of the back funding proposal. So it's great that the Arbitrum community got Stake.DAO in there. What are your plans to distribute the STIP, and how is your experience working in the Arbitrum ecosystem?
Hey everyone, can you hear me correctly?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Now, just first, I would like to say thanks a lot to the Arbitrum community for this grant. We were granted 200,000 ARB tokens to develop the Curve ecosystem on Stake.DAO, on Arbitrum through our Stake.DAO product, which is built on top of Curve. For those who don't know us, Stake.DAO is engaged in liquid staking of governance token. Our biggest product is Curve and CRV liquid staking derivative, which is called SDCRV. It's currently available only on mainnet, and so thanks to this STIP, we will make it available on Arbitrum so that anyone on Arbitrum can benefit from locking CRV without suffering the gas cost of going to mainnet. And we will also use this grant to develop the depth of Curve's liquidity pool on Arbitrum, so that big trades of stable coins can have like the best execution thanks to Curve stable subcontract.
And a new dynamic from some of the kind of liquid locker
kind of vibe and product to Arbitrum, which I am definitely mistaken, but there's tons of VE projects, but the type of role which you guys could play in Arbitrum gets to be really interesting. So excited to see some of that play out.
Yeah, it's extremely interesting. So, I mean, we are not a native Arbitrum project. Curve is not a native Arbitrum project, as you may know. It kind of sometimes it's a bit difficult when you're not like a native project to come to another chain, especially when you have like very good specialized project on the chain, and so. But the product, either like the Curve stable swap pools or Stake.DAO liquid lockers, they are great products, and we believe it will fit very well in Arbitrum. So again, massive thanks for granting us these art tokens, and very excited about that.
We're glad that you're here and able to play a role in the future, and excited to see how that plays out.